Can you guys all see our screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Have we got Botswana in the house? Is Botswana on?
No, didn't they say they're going for a wedding?
Okay, no, I didn't see that message. Maybe I've missed that. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so is it both of them that are not there?
Yeah.
That's fine. Let's get started. All right, guys. So this is being recorded, and a very, very big welcome to everybody. How are we all doing?
Very good. And you?
Good.
Well, thank you.
Thanks,
Good,
Tammy.
thank you.
Tammy, are you in Zambia or are you in the UK?
Not in Zambia.
Okay, all right. Because Ambika said you were trying to buy your boots, so I thought maybe you were here or somebody's here or something.
No, I want to buy them online.
Okay. Is that Princess?
Princess is changing at the moment, so we've just come out of swimming.
Okay, awesome.
Yes.
Lovely to have Princess on as well, guys. Princess is our 9-year-old participant who'll be doing Kilimanjaro with Jag, and we have Sheena Patel as well. Sheena, are you on?
Hi, yes, I'm here.
All right, excellent. I don't know if you can see the slides. Are you able to see the slides? And there's a camera option if you'd like to share yourself as well.
Okay. Yeah, there's Princess.
Hey, Princess, how's it going? Okay, great.
How's it going?
All right, guys. So we have a few more people on as well on this leadership summit. We have a few people that are sitting on the edge on the fence. Guys, if you're in a noisy place, please mute so that there's no background interference from your end.
She's going back to change.
Okay, got it. All right, excellent. So thanks. First of all, congratulations to everybody for signing up to this. And Kilimanjaro Leadership Summit is really, really very far from just a climb. We've had people who have joined our Leadership Summit who have actually done or attempted Mount Kilimanjaro before, as have I. And one of the biggest missings we found is people sign up with someone to do this, they land there, and they have no idea and no relatedness and no context of who everybody is. What's worse is that when they struggle, they're unable to share, to connect, to ask for support. And that begins to kick off spiraling down the wrong direction as they are on the mountain. So we had somebody who was 300 to 400 meters away from the summit. They did it themselves in 2016, and they struggled. They struggled in terms of nutrition. They struggled in terms of their preparation. They signed up with somebody who was going from their gym, and her and that person they knew from the gym were the only two people they knew. She didn't know that person other than her being somebody from the same gym. And they were suddenly in a group of 40-something people with no idea or relatedness with everyone else. And when things got hard, when there was something quite poor that they experienced, which was like food rationing going on amongst a large group, it was hard for you, or people didn't have that generosity and that sense of community to want to support each other. So it was kind of like each man for themselves, which in some shape or form shows up at certain moments and hard points in the mountain, even when we know each other. And what we're here to do is to really tighten that bond and bring everyone together so that all of you feel like this truly is a team effort. And you are going to be at your most vulnerable moment with the group of people that you're with. And this team is going to keep growing. And it's going to keep growing because of our continued sharing this out there and host of events and info webinars that we're having. But it's also going to grow because of you people getting connected to your world and people around you. And as you prepare for this, it's an opportunity for you to be that leader and cause a difference in another's life by simply making an influence and impact on them, sharing. Just as many of you have found out, many of you have joined this because you know someone that has done one of our previous leadership summits, and they've spoken to you or invited you to an event which was, you've got to do this, and they've had this life transforming experience. And I'm going to say this off the bat, there are people that have come with us, and for the first time last year, unfortunately, or not really fortunate or unfortunate, it just happened to be, we had 4 people that didn't make the final summit, 4 people that didn't summit the mountain. And 2 of them chose Two of them chose to turn back on day 3 for health and medical reasons. And one of them was somebody we didn't get to communicate or make a difference to or speak with. And they made that call on their own with the team, with the guide and the doctor that they were with at the time. But ultimately it was their choice. And we weren't able to directly converse with them on radio before they made that decision to turn down. And we only got to speak to them or connect with them after they were down, which is unfortunate because I truly believe anyone that puts their mind to this can truly do it. And when you're struggling, the last place to go is in your head and being alone. So, that's why I really want us to really get that we may start off as strangers. And I've had this experience now 3 times in a row. I truly experience, we start off as strangers, but we leave that mountain, and for years and months and years later on, we truly become family, because this really will be something which is just very memorable and something really special to each of us. So these calls are for us to really connect and know each other. It's an opportunity for you guys to introduce yourselves, share something about you, give us updates around things like your training or the gear that you've got. I highly recommend that the first thing on your gear list everyone buys, and ideally you should buy them by now, are your hiking boots. So just as Tammy's getting them, they're a good thing to get now. We've had instances where people have bought them pretty late, or in my case, even though I was training with a pair that I used from 2014, and right up to a month before, they began to prove that they were wearing out and they were leaking. So I had to get replacement boots 2 weeks before. Not great, but I was able to do it, and I was able to somewhat break them in before going out to Kilimanjaro. The biggest thing that will come in our way, and I'll be authentic and straight with you, that with some people on the chat, it's already showing up. The science and the psychology of the human mind is something that I truly feel grateful and privileged to discover in dealing with and supporting so many people, because many of you are very well accomplished in your worlds and in your lives and in your businesses, and as entrepreneurs or as mom or dad in your homes, you really are people that have accomplished stuff. But what tends to happen with what we call the achiever's mindset is we aim to get something perfect in terms of the freedom of the time, perfect in terms of the finances sorted, perfect in terms of fitness or an ideal level of fitness we think we need, and those are things that begin to sabotage us. So I've honestly had people who've signed up to this. They're all prepped and ready to go, and every concern that's sitting at the back in their subconscious begins to come forward to the forefront. Their body begins to bring these forward, from wobbly knees suddenly requiring surgery before going out to Kilimanjaro. And we've had both instances. We've had someone who had the same issue as 2 people on this program, and someone with a wobbly knee goes ahead and says, I need to get surgery. And he went to 2 doctors for opinion, and one doctor who has done the outdoors, done trekking, done hikes, done mountains, said, you're very able and very fit to do this. And the second doctor he went to was somebody that was, as a doctor, was overweight, not physically active, does not do the outdoors and does not do mountains. And that second doctor said, I wouldn't do this mountain if I were you. So people impose their concerns and their fears onto us. He chose to listen to the second doctor. He was told by the first doctor and other doctors and in the UK that he didn't need surgery. So he actually flew out to Turkey, where the doctors would do it regardless based on his choice. And he got the surgery done. And his recovery was, even there, he was able to recover in time for that. But he took himself out of the game because he experienced pains and fatigue and back issues, and everything happened. And at the same time, in the same year, we had somebody from Zambia, Charlene Milner, who had an issue with her knee. She flew out to South Africa for a checkup and treatment. And they said, you really don't need this. You can do this, but we can wait after the mountain. So I spoke to in a similar vein like this. And I said, I had the same concern 4 years earlier or 3 years earlier. And when I got in shape and when I worked in surrounding muscle groups, there was less pressure on my knee. And so that disappeared. And there was somewhat of a placebo effect of knowing that actually we can heal with the right mindset and understanding how the strain is being caused. And I never needed surgery myself. And then she did Kili, and after that, she didn't need surgery. she went on to do Mount Everest Base Camp, and this year she's doing Mount Elbrus in Russia. So anything is possible where your mindset is in the right space. What will come in the way are those concerns, though. So if you have a concern, you want to distinguish and label it as just that. It's a concern. It's not a real risk. It's unreal, and it is just an anticipation of a negative outcome. It does not necessarily mean it will happen. In fact, statistically, in our mind, 97 or I think 99% psychologists say of the things we fear often do not happen. So you want to look out for those and please be flagging them as they come up for you. Any questions you have around your preparation, around exercise in the gym, around training, we will give you a high-level guideline of what to do, and that high-level guideline is effectively all we need. And some people may want to do something extra. Some people may want to, we have in the UK, and you may have that in other regions depending on where you are, what we call a oxygen, what is it called? Like a high altitude center, high altitude training center. And what they do is you are in this capsule where there is diminished oxygen. I've never been to one of those, right? Yet many people and many posts and many people who've known people who've done this said, oh, I hear you have to go for this kind of training for Kilimanjaro. You don't. That's not real. This is really doable by most human beings. Always remember this. Last year, an 8-year-old girl did it. This year, we're going with a phenomenal Princess 9-year-old girl who's going to take this on. And an 86-year-old girl has done this, right? And Princess is going to do this if Princess is going to be coachable and train and eat right and work out right. And it may be hard for Princess. And we will all have to be operating at a team level. And equally, Princess will be the one supporting us when we're at our hard moments. You will really, really be surprised. And I mean that will happen for us. So guidance, we will give you some guidance around nutrition and training as we go along. But we'll give you some high-level stuff now as well. And then visualization. We cannot achieve or accomplish that which we cannot visually perceive. So there's a reason we continually share photos. We will share stories. We will show you some of the people who physically, in this world of judgment, the judgment of our eyes, we think they couldn't have physically done this. And we will show you them having done such stuff. Just to remind you that anyone with the right mindset can do this. So you really want to visualize this. You want to, if you're a believer in vision boards, which are just very similar to goal mapping, and whereas in goal mapping we write down our goals, a vision board is having a visual of that image stuck up there like you're going to do it. So if you go to Google, or if you go to my Facebook page and pull out some images of people who have done this, get it, print it out big, stick it up on your wall, put your face over their face, and visualize you there at the summit. And we will go through visualizing what each of the days look like, right? So as we go through that, which we also did on the intro webinar for those of you that have been on that. Can I check here, is there anybody here who had not attended one of our intro webinars?
I didn't. This is Sheena. I didn't.
All right. Did you see the recording that I shared with you?
No, I'd like to know if you send it to me.
Okay.
Yes, Ronnie, do have it later.
I can do one of two things. We're going to host one info webinar next week, and you can either join that live, or if you want the recording, I can go ahead and send you the recording now. Or you can do both.
I can join next week if you let me know when it is.
Sure.
I'd love to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I can have the recording if that's okay.
Okay, I'll send you the recording, Jag, as well. But Sheena, you can join next week with some other people that are considering joining. And if you're on live, and even Jag, if you want to join the live one as well, you can, because you get to ask questions that might come out of you watching the recording.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Sheena. And then those of us in the UK, and last year we had some really phenomenal, unreasonable people who chose to actually fly down for one of the weeks here to just train with the team, to experience one of the outdoor treks. It is a beautiful holiday and outing for anybody internationally. If you would like to, we will be doing 2 residential treks. We're looking at locking in a third, and these are going to be in Wales, one in Snowdon, one in Brecon Beacons. And they're great weekends away to just experience trialing out tents, trialing out the outdoors. One of the places we will be sleeping in hostels, and one of the places there'll be an option for tented accommodation as well as indoor hostels. So we recommend the tented one, of course, for those doing Kili, and there'll be others who come on our regular treks who will be there, and they're great community get together, cooking, eating together, and whatnot. So they're great weekends away. Those dates are also shared. Those of you in the UK, we have a FITBANKER Treks chat. If you're not part of the FITBANKER Treks chat, let me know. You must be on that Trek chat between now and Kilimanjaro, so that you're really connected to people sharing them being in action, people, it's mostly for logistics around our monthly treks. So we don't want that chat to digress too much, but it'll be good if you're on that chat and you join us on the next one. The next one is on 16th March, which is not this Saturday, but the Saturday after. It is one of the longest by length, by distance, treks we do. It is the longest, and it is also longer than any one day on Kilimanjaro. So when people do this one, and they've done 21 kilometers, that's a big boost to your confidence, because you say, if that's under your belt, you can do this distance-wise. The difference, though, is 21 kilometers, 100 feet above sea level, is very different to even 5 kilometers at altitude. So 5 kilometers at altitude takes 5 hours. 21 kilometers at sea level takes 5 hours. So, they're very comparable in terms of the time, but we move very slowly on the mountain with reduced oxygen. And we will talk again about that. How do we increase our bodies at becoming efficient vehicles in converting food, breath, and water into energy, right? So how do we do that? And we're going to be talking about that on our webinars. And they're an opportunity for us to gain insight and meet others. So before I go on, I'd love to just get a sense, and everyone else get a sense of who's here on the call. And these webinars will go on for about 45 minutes, sometimes shorter, sometimes slightly more, but average time of about 45 minutes. So I'd love to go around and hear from each of you who you are, where you're joining us from, what is your why that you're doing this, and share something that you're looking forward to. Who'd like to start?
I'll start.
Okay, was that Sheena?
Alika.
Oh, Alika. All right, I forget because I'm not looking at your screen. Alika, go for it.
Yeah, so I'm Alika. I'm a South African, but I am living and working in the UAE. I'm a teacher. My why for signing up to Kilimanjaro was mainly because I'm feeling very stuck right now, and it's always been my thing for when I feel in my life that I have reached a point where I'm not sure what I need to do. I find something challenging to do. So the last time this happened, I packed my bags and I left home and I moved to the Middle East. And so I found something challenging. I stepped out of my comfort zone. And so when Ronnie mentioned this opportunity sometime towards the end of last year, I had this feeling that this was it. This was something that I had to do. And also given that I had done the FITBANKER challenge and I'd lost weight, and I'm just, that entire journey, and then now being a stand for other people in my life with my lifestyle changes, I felt that Kilimanjaro would be something that would push me that much extra. So that's my why. My why is to push myself and to do something that I've never done before. Yeah. What was the other thing? What I'm excited about.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm really excited about being up with people that are very like-minded. I think that's something that I miss a lot. I feel like when I'm living in expat community here, and I feel like it's very difficult to find people that are like-minded. And so when I do find a group of people that are going for something similar, I get very excited about it. Like, for example, I also found a full moon and yoga group which I've started to cleave to. So they like, it's like as soon as I find people that are like-minded, I find that I will give my 100% there. So I'm really excited about that. Irrespective of being so far away from everyone, I still find that connection is there. So grateful for that and really excited about that.
Awesome, Olika. I just heard recently, beautifully put by our mutual friend Jay Shetty, where he shared that in life, when our challenge is equal to our skill set, we get bored very easily. And on the FITBANKER challenge, this is a separate 90-day program that we coach on. In the second week, we invite people to sign up to something that they cannot. Always signing up to that challenge that is beyond you creates an opportunity for you to match up your skill set. So we grow in that space when we've signed up to something we cannot do. So well done, Olika, on taking this on. There'll be phenomenal growth for you in taking this on, and I really see you as well as massive value add to the team. So really, really, really awesome having you join this.
Thank you.
Awesome. Who else would like to go next?
I'll go next.
All right,
Gadget.
Go for it.
Hi everyone. So I'm Gadget. I'm from the UK. I'm currently on the FITBANKER 90-day challenge, and I've signed up to Kilimanjaro because I want to keep my healthy routine going. And it's not just about my eating; it's also about exercise. So previously, I've kind of run marathons and things, but now I kind of want to still keep the health aspect going. And Kilimanjaro, it's a big one for me. So yeah, I really want to be challenged, and I do see it as, like many of you, an opportunity to grow, discover me, and almost go through something that's going to be really challenging on days, I suspect. But I want to be able to overcome that, so that the clients that I can help, I can always, turn back to my time, hopefully on the Kili Mountain, and say, look, we all face challenges, and it's about how to keep breathing through it. So yeah, that's kind of my why. What I'm most looking forward to, similar to what Olika said, meeting you ladies. It's fantastic that our group is full of women power, and of course a rock star in Ronnie. But yeah, just the whole collaborating and being there for each other and empowering each other to know that we can do it.
Yeah, it's only all girl power so far. The men are just slow to come to the party, I promise you.
I'm not saying anything.
So anyway, it will. Olika hasn't mentioned as well. I mean, Gurjit hasn't mentioned as well. She's also an amazing TV presenter and host, and we've been on her show, and we're looking to being on her show again. We'll be on for some other content coming up soon. So there's a TV channel focused on the Sikh community in the UK and globally called Sangat TV. And she runs hosts a show there called Super, and we're looking forward. We've been on it before, and we're looking forward to being on that again in the near future.
Yes, thank you, Ronnie. Yeah.
But to add to your why you're doing this, and for everyone else that heard what Gurjit is saying, that could you guys put yourselves on mute if there's some background noise where you are? So one of the things you will find on the mountain. Remember always when you're asking. This is a question which will come up multiple times on the mountain. The question which will come up multiple times on the mountain is, why did I sign up to this again? And it's going to come up on the mountain. And it's going to come up maybe while you're training and preparing for it. And it's going to come up as the months go by. And it will come up when your self-sabotage aspect of our identity wants to take us out of our game, right? It's going to be there, which is why. And what Gurjit was saying was, as a coach or somebody that serves clients, in having them know that even this storm too will pass, it's because the mountain is a phenomenal coach. It will present us with adversity. It will present us with hurdles. And when you're dealing with those hurdles in your real life, you will see how under a control experiment, default conditions, you where you are may deal with them. Sometimes we quit a job. Sometimes we quit a relationship. Sometimes we fall. Sometimes we go back to the comfort zone. On the mountain, that as an option isn't really there, because when the site behind us has been packed up and they've packed up the campsite, we can't really retract to the old familiar territory. The porters and the guides have packed up our tents behind us, our food, and they've already overtaken us as we start off in the morning. and they've set up lunch at the next stop. And after lunch, they would pack up after us and still overtake us, and they'll set up supper and our tents to sleep in that night. And we learned that that's how growth happens. So what we learn from the mountain is what we will learn to apply in our life. And when we are completely physically spent, for some people, you will think you're physically spent at the end of day 1. For some people, at the end of day 2. For some people, at the end of day 3, right? When you think you're fully finished, you still have 75% left in your tank, and you will tap into an aspect, an area of your body you didn't know you could go to for reserves of energy, for drive, for being in action. So I really want each of you that when you bring a very powerful why you're doing this, right? There are people who've come to the mountain, and their why is they want to deal with going through this relationship issue they're dealing with. There are people that want to transform an area of their health. There are people that want to transform their dad's health, and they've come here and they've discovered what will be like to support somebody through those hardest moments. And the mountain is a coach, and preparing for this is a phenomenal coach. All right, who else is there? We may not be able to go through everyone, so if we can get...
Hi, Princess wanted to go.
All right, Princess.
I wanted to thank you.
Can you hear her?
Yeah,
No.
Princess, just introduce yourself. Tell us a bit about
My name is Tia. I'm 9 years old, and I wanted to climb Kilimanjaro because I'm determined. I think I'm powerful enough to do it.
Amazing.
And
Amazing.
I think I'll be an influence to other 9-year-olds.
Ah, amazing. What are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to getting to the very top of the mountain and getting to the summit.
Okay, awesome. Getting to the top is going to be amazing if we do, Princess, but it's not guaranteed. So we really will need you to come on all the treks, and especially practice eating well and staying hydrated between now and the mountain.
I've become a pescatarian now.
Awesome. Well done, Princess. So looking forward to seeing you on the 16th as well. And let's see how that trek goes as well.
Okay.
Have you bought your boots, Princess?
She already had some. I might
Okay.
check in with you when we go to Brighton and see if they're okay or not.
I already have
Okay.
some what?
Yeah, if she
Boots.
found them quite comfortable. But I think my concern is with her because her feet are still growing.
Yeah.
That's always going to be a bit of a
Yeah.
hit and miss.
Yeah. For our boots, remember this, guys. There are 3 things we're looking out for. The boots should be waterproof. They should be windproof, right?
Yeah.
And they should have a sole which is thick and got some insulation, because the cold is really going to come through the sole if it's very thin.
Okay.
2 more things to look out for is ideally you want them up ankle height, right? So they're not below the ankle. They just give you more support when you're coming down. And another one is that you always want to buy 1 size bigger than your normal size.
Yeah.
Because you will be wearing 2 pairs of socks. Although 1 sock is a thinner sock called a liner sock, and then there's a very thick sock. Your toes and feet will also swell, especially on the way down. So you want to make sure there's that space in your boot for that.
Yeah, okay. So we'll just I'll double check those.
Yeah. So in any case, I think a good time, if you're not getting a new boot now, kind of by June is a good time latest to get a new pair of boots.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that was only because her feet have grown again recently. So I guess it's that natural thing that's obviously going to happen.
All right. Awesome.
So yeah, so we'll get them again closer to time.
Okay.
So shall I do a quick intro?
It'll be unfair to have one person. Sorry, say that again, Jack.
I said, shall I do it quickly as well?
Yeah. Okay.
We got
Go for it. Introduce yourself.
Yeah. So I'm Jack Murray, and I've been on the FITBANKER challenge 2 years ago, and I think a little bit like what Oliver was saying as well. Like I need to grow really, and so sort of been doing the same thing for a while, and I've maintained my weight, but I'm just not shifting that next level. Like I know there's something else that needed to be done. So to be fair, it was thanks to Princess that I am doing this, because she really insisted that we do it, and she started telling everyone we are doing it. So I took that as a sign that I should just do it, because I think I was just I guess it was a little bit of fear, like, can I do it or not? So for me, I'm really excited about one, get summiting. Obviously, I do want to get to the top. I do want to beat the mountain. I do want to go up the mountain. I want to go through all those experiences that people speak about when they go up on the mountain. And also, I want to be a really great role model for Princess, and support her in her journey as well. So it's not just me being a role model, but here she's going to be a role model as well. And just I completely believe that we wouldn't be doing this mountain climbing Kili if it hadn't been for you guys, to be fair. Like, it's only because we know you so well, you're like family, and obviously I wouldn't trust Dia going with anyone else. So, you know, I think it's going to be a great experience. It's going to feel like we're a family, and I'm sure we're all going to really get to know each other by the time we're climbing that mountain. And it's just going to be amazing.
Awesome. Amazing. So I am looking forward to having you there. You are already a phenomenal role model to Princess Jag. And not only that, Jag is our FITBANKER poster girl. So she's on many of our posters and our social media stuff. You should see her transformation of her before and after. And as with all growth, it's always good to throw your hat over the wall for something, again, beyond you. It's going to be such an honor to have you join, Jag. And I would also not be attached to, and I'll keep sharing this to people, don't be attached to Summit. That Summit will happen as a byproduct of just focusing on our self-care on a daily basis, right? Good food, not under-eating. You cannot afford to under-eat on the mountain, sleeping, and good breathing exercises that we're going to do along the way. Okay, so it'll be unfair to miss out two superstars that are on. So let's hear quickly from Sheena and Tammy as well.
Hi, this is Sheena. Okay, just a quick one then. I wanted to do something this year to challenge myself and, have a goal to work towards, and to also do something for charity. So I know that the charity aspect of getting sponsorship is something that really appealed to me about this program. And also, meeting like-minded people and to meet new people and to have the monthly catch-ups and the walks and the training as a build-up to taking on a challenge was a big aspect that drew me into joining this particular challenge, because it kind of felt like you're with a team from the beginning, rather than you can easily just book something and turn up at the airport and you might not be as prepared. And I think this is a good, to go through the year up to August to do it all together and then attempt it. I think that's something that really drew me to this program.
Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
I look forward to meeting you all. Yeah.
What's your why? What's something in your personal space that you would love to transform, taking on, and that you want to discover from taking on this mountain?
Just to focus on something that I am very nervous about. Challenge myself, physically and mentally to be able to do this. I don't think it's going to be easy, but I definitely want to give it a shot and just hopefully make it to the top. Awesome.
Yeah. Really looking forward to have you joining us. I read something very nice and interesting about your company today. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that you can go to work with your hiking boots. Did you read that?
No, I didn't.
All right. So Goldman's is in the paper today that they have introduced dressing down. They're not going to be as stringent on the dress code. So JP Morgan did that about 3 years ago, and today Goldman's have announced that the new CEO is somebody who is a DJ after hours and on weekends, and he's introduced that so that people can have other passions that they pursue, and okay. It's really awesome to have read that today. So I look forward to you can go to work on certain days with your hiking boots to break.
Yeah, no, I'll look it up. Thank you.
Awesome, lovely to have you join us. And Sheena, just acknowledge Sheena, guys. Sheena is somebody who we have not met in person. She's not done a prior FITBANKER challenge. She's not been referred to us by somebody that has done our stuff. And she just individually was called, and as a leader, just connected with us through social media, through Facebook, through Instagram, and reached out, inquired about it through some of our posts. And from there has just stepped in and leapt into the space and signed up. So very big acknowledgement to you, Sheena, for doing that.
Oh, thank you. And also, just something that is just actually very personal to me is that I haven't actually told anyone I'm doing this just yet. I probably will a bit nearer the time. So I'm just a bit conscious about being tagged on anything.
Okay.
Even though I'm going to come to the walks and things like that, I'll probably tell a few people close to me. But at the moment, I probably won't tell anyone until maybe May. I'm not sure, until I start really asking for sponsorship and I feel quite confident about what I'm doing. And at the moment, it's still very new, and I'm still quite nervous about it. So
Okay.
I haven't
Hopefully,
put in.
by the end of 16th March, after the trek, we'd have changed that, and you'll be very confident.
Oh, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But I look forward to meeting you.
Likewise. And please at least tell your family.
Yeah, I haven't done that yet, but it's fine.
Okay. All right. Tammy?
Hi everyone, my name is Cami and I'm from Zambia. I think the main reason I want to do it is just to push myself out of my comfort zone. I feel that every day is just the same routine, wake up, do the same things every day, and each year is just kind of flowing into the next. And so I decided that this year would be different. So that is my why. And what I'd like to get out of it is to come back more inspired and to have a deeper sense of self. So
Amazing, 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 Tammy. And what are you looking forward to?
I think for me, I'm going to be traveling on my own, so that's going to push me out of my comfort zone. I'm a bit of an antisocial person, so it's going to be great to meet new people that are maybe more like-minded, and that will help me to come out of my shell a little bit.
Awesome. On this trek, you will learn Swahili. You will learn how to sing in Swahili. You will learn to dance with the guides and the porters and all of us. And you will be dancing at an altitude of 3,000 something meters, which is epic. And if we're all up for it, we can start brainstorming now. We did go for a world record attempt last year. We're waiting for Guinness to acknowledge and verify that. There is nothing stopping us for going for a new one, another one, this year. So if you all come up with an idea of something you want to do at 5,895 meters, keep those ideas coming. Whether it's a dance class, if any one of you is a dance instructor or knows how to teach a particular dance, it can be done. I'll give you the guidelines of what we need to do to meet something that qualifies as a world's highest X. And we can look at that. We can look at what that is. So we can start brainstorming now. And we will only do that as a secondary after we have summited and everyone's well-being and health is there as a priority. So, but it's good to have that because you can think about it, getting a mom and a daughter, 9-year-old girl and a mom in Guinness Book of World Records, and you're part of that team, getting this international community of so far women in Guinness Book of World Records would also be a phenomenal thing. So think about whatever you can think of as world's highest, and we can look at what the current record is, and we may be able to meet that. And these labels that we have of ourselves as antisocial and like to do something different and inspiring, you could shock your town. I'm always excited when somebody comes from Zambia because I grew up there and there was nothing of the sort to look up to as a teenager and my 20s. And our weekends or our adventure was actually getting in trouble, or our weekends away was going away somewhere for a picnic or camping. And all it was indulging in food and loads of alcohol and partly drunk driving on the way back. And I think it would be phenomenal to cause more and more. We now have about 7 or 8 people from Zambia who have now done this. And even though Zambia is a neighboring country to Tanzania, it's a very small countable number of people from that country that have done this. So really, really, really excited to have Tammy on, and hopefully we'll have more from Zambia joining in. Okay, that said, there's nobody who hasn't gone, right? Everyone's gone so far. Okay, excellent. So yeah, like I mentioned, we will learn Kiswahili along the way. So there are some words you will learn. Most of our guides and assistant guides are English speaking, but there are some cool words we will learn, some basics we want to learn. Swahili is such an easy to learn language. There's a song in Swahili that we're going to learn that is sung along the way. It's a great celebratory song. We will dance to it multiple times at multiple levels. And it will be really, really, really fun experience doing this. So really look forward to it. what do we need to do in terms of starting to prepare? So who here has already started their training? Who here is doing some form of daily walking or treks or some training?
Me, Olika.
Yeah, what are you doing, Olika?
I'm doing my daily walks, and I walked for the last 2 weeks. I did 10 kilometers at the Jebel Afit, which is a mountain range here in Al-Ain. So I walked twice so far.
Out of curiosity, as part of your training, will you be doing a stair climb up the Burj Al Arab? Is that what it's called?
No, Burj Khalifa.
Burj Khalifa, that's it, sorry.
154 floors, I don't think so.
Well, I think we can do that on the treadmill, on the stair climber in the gym. I've gone to about just over 100, and it tells you what you've done against which building. So I'm sure it's very doable. If you have access to it, and if you're planning to do it, let me know. Maybe I could come for a cheeky weekend, and we can do it together.
Okay. I'm not sure if it's allowed. I can find out though.
Find out. That would be an awesome thing to try. So let me share what actually is required. Tiger, 1 second. So I got my Kanaya is preparing to do Kilimanjaro at the age of 5. So he's very eager to listen in on these webinars. So this is what we need to do, guys. It is not training for a marathon. So what I mean by it's not training for a marathon, we often train to build up a certain pace, a certain speed, a certain distance, and we slowly want to keep building that up to get to a level. With this, it's not that. With this, keep reminding yourself it's endurance, which is you want to just make your body efficient to expend a certain amount of very doable energy and then good recovery in the night and repeat the next day. And don't ever process in your mind after one hard day of, oh my God, is it 7 days of this? Some of us process things in a manner that creates overwhelm in the mind. Don't do that for Kilimanjaro. Kilimanjaro, every single day is a new day, and every step is a fresh new step. Every walk between breakfast and lunch is a new piece, and lunch and supper is a whole new piece. So how you show up in the morning can be very different to how you show up in the afternoon. We've seen people break down and cry in the morning and say, I can't do this, to overtaking because they showed up last at lunch and they went into their head comparing themselves to others and worrying about being left behind, to turning that around through some coaching from me to suddenly overtaking everyone, right? They just zoom past. And it's not a race, so we don't race on the mountain. The biggest thing we say on the mountain is pole pole, which means slow down, right? So that's what we're going to keep reminding people. Most of our practice treks, we will be walking about 3 to 5 times faster than the pace we will walk on the mountain. So just remember that your normal pace of walking is going to be faster than what we do on Kilimanjaro. That said, what do you need to do? Walk 100 kilometers in a month at a minimum. How can you do that? Walk 3 kilometers a day. And you will get between 100 to 150 in a month. So we recommend you use an app to begin to track how much you actually walk. I use an app called Runkeeper, and it tracks how much I've done for a month. You can also add me as a friend there, search for FITBANKER and add me. You'll be notified every time I've completed a walk. And anyone else here that you add on Runkeeper will also be notified. So once you guys are on Runkeeper, if you download the app called Runkeeper, you can share it here, share your names on the chat. People can add you and follow you. Try to do once a week at least 10 kilometers. And between now and May, if you didn't do 10 kilometers once a week, I'm still not worried. Okay? So don't begin to punish yourself or make yourself wrong if you didn't do everything here on this list. Try to do 15 kilometers at least once a month. If you went twice a week for a 3 to 5 kilometer walk, and you did that for 3 weeks or 4 weeks in the month, and one of the weeks or one day in a month you went for a 15 kilometer walk, that's still very good preparation. In Kitwe, our group there started a walking club where they go to, in Zambia, a group of 4 or 5, and I believe they still keep it up now, is they go in the evenings for laps around Lubambe Center, Tammy, if you know that, the complex. So they go there for evening walks around the ZSI's insurance flats, and they do that lap for about an hour every evening at 8 or 9 p.m. they go.
Is that Kitwe or Ndola?
That's Kitwe. Are you in Ndola?
No, I'm in Kitwe. Okay.
Yeah, it's in
Lubambe
Kitwe where they go. Lubambe Center, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll
Thank
connect you to my brother or Dipti. She would know if who's going.
I'll ask Dipti. Thank you.
Ask Dipti. And then you want to get used to drinking 3 liters of water a day. I'm going to repeat that. 3 liters of water a day. People underestimate training for that. They think, I'll drink when I'm thirsty. And if I will be that thirsty, I will naturally consume 3 liters. No, you have to get used to the act of opening your mouth and taking down some water. And it's hard to take in 3 liters. So a good way is start off with, this is a liter of kombucha, right? I want to consume 2 of these on most days, right? Two of these bottles. So if you move with an empty bottle of a liter bottle, move with it till you finish it and top it up twice in the day. And also what counts towards your water intake is other liquids like soups and including other drinks like teas or coffees. But the moment you have more than 3, the equivalent of about 3 espressos or 3 double espressos, it begins to have an effect on your body called a diuretic. So you begin to pee more and you begin to lose more water from the body. So on the mountain, we want to control that. But in your preparation for it, try to get to consuming 3 liters of water a day. We will do that on the mountain. If you do 2 liters at ground, phenomenal. Sorry, that date is wrong. That's last year's date. But we're going to go for 0 alcohol from 2 weeks before. So 0 alcohol from the 8th of August. 8th of August, 0 alcohol. Alcohol will just have an impact on our fitness. There are people that will tell you who've done this. They will say, nonsense, you can have alcohol. There's some people that have a drink at the hotel we're staying at the night before. It just minimizes or reduces your chances. Why not be in optimal health? Also, through the gates, you're not allowed to take alcohol through the gates. It's forbidden in the game park. But we've seen people sneak in a bottle of champagne to pop at the top. It's not something we will do. It's not something our providers would do. They could lose their license. But what we want to do is to have our body in a state that learns to retain water. And if we've had if we're somebody that has a lot of alcohol weekly, it's going to have an impact and act as a diuretic on our body. Mental prep, the visualization I spoke of. On our treks, carry real food. Don't carry chocolates and sweets. I'll tell you this, most trek providers on the mountain give you loads of sweets and sugar. We don't do that. We have good fats. We have nut butters. We have nuts. We have avocados. We have fresh veg. We have soups. We have a lot of stuff that will hydrate you, but you can't have soups alone. Soups are very low in calories. We will burn in a day about 2.5 to 3.5 to 4,000 calories on Sundays, right? So we need to replenish them every night so we're ready for the next day. And so have real food that you carry. If you want, you can carry some sandwiches or some oat bars or have oats in the morning. Those are good, slow-burning carbs. Minimize what we call high glycemic index carbs or sugary carbs. The story that you've heard called carb loading is debunked in most recent science. We'll share with you one of the interviews I've done recently around carb loading. So don't think that you eating lots of carbs a number of days before a big trek is going to help you. It won't. It would have been digested by your body and converted and stored, but it won't suddenly have you have energy and power on the day. What will have energy and power on the day is making your body an efficient system of snacking as you go to convert that to energy, and having a good breakfast before, a good start meal before the start. Control caffeine, as mentioned, becomes a diuretic. Then vaccinations. This question will be asked multiple times, and I will keep answering it, but I'm telling you now, you're not legally required to have any vaccinations unless there is going to be some outbreak of something where you require it. So you don't need any vaccinations. However, if you come from, if you have a passport of certain countries, certain regions, they might have a request. They will ask you, do you have yellow fever vaccination? So they will ask you that. And if you do not have it, you can say, I don't have it and I chose not to have it. But if you've taken it, it usually lasts 10 years. And if you want to take it, you can go ahead and take it now. You'll be given a yellow book that will last 10 years. So you can go ahead and take that if you want to. Of course, we've had people that are very anti-allopathic medicine and they don't believe in vaccinations. They've not taken any. They've grown up not taking any. And so we have those people, they don't decline entry into the country. But if you go to the Tanzanian government website, they will advise you that you take the necessary vaccinations and jabs. Travel insurance, but if you call them and explain that you don't want to, they'll let you know you can still go. Travel insurance and medical insurance. These are two types of insurance. People think, I have one insurance, I'm sorted, like my bank gives me insurance. Your bank might give you travel insurance, which is if you lose your baggage and luggage, or there's delayed baggage, or you miss a flight. That's very different from medical. Medical is about you needing to be evacuated if something happens. Now, a new thing on the mountain, which happened in 2018, is they've introduced a high altitude clinic. In 2018, we don't provide this on the trek, but if we choose to go for like a world record attempt, and if it may impact our well-being, then we can choose to separately pay for a doctor if we want to take one. It's not required. We hardly use the guy. But if we choose to, that would be an individual choice amongst us as a team, then we can do that, but it's not required. We have first aiders on the team. We have health checks that we do ourselves. We check daily your oximeter, things like your vomiting, your diarrhea, if anything. We have various checks that we check on you. We check on your nutrition. And if you've got all that right, we look at a probability standpoint, you're likely to succeed. So look at getting travel insurance and medical insurance. You need both. Right? And you're going to have to bring and print those policies, travel with them, and we'll give them to the providers at the ground level. We have 24/7 radio and contact with base. So if anything happens, if anyone needs to go down, it's very, very safe. I would trust them, the team taking down my 70-year-old mum. If I was with my mum and dad and carrying on with my dad, I'd be happy with them taking mum down, and mum will be taken to that nice luxury lodge we're staying at, and she'll stay there and be taken care of. This year, we have the owners of the lodge, the mum of the lodge, the mum of the provider, who has been supporting the company to take thousands of people have gone up this mountain under their name. But she herself and the chief of operations of this company, another lady, have not believed they could do this. They're slightly overweight, and I've shared them photos of the people we've gone, and our partners on the ground, are now willing to come with us on this trek. So it's a real privilege to us. Two of them are training for it. So I'm going to have to hold them to account for them to join. But they were there in the lodge when someone had to go down. They were with the mum of the person that's joining us on the trek. Very lovely family that we work with on the ground. So please do have those. Any questions so far? Okay. All right. And why are we doing this? As Sheena said, she loves to make a difference to people on the ground. There's a place, we're going to share the link for us to promote for people to donate. Last year, we had a slight glitch with the link that we used. It's a pool, a funding pot link where we can collect money, which we now give. So we raised about $7,000. It's going towards a borehole there. They needed about $10,000. So they might make the shortfall from other donors to have that borehole ready. When we go there, there'll be a borehole there. We'll get them to put the names of many of the sponsors that donated, as well as people that were part of last year's summit. Here we're going to see what more we can do for this. Why do we choose a charity on the ground? Well, we previously have worked with the UK charity. But if you think about it, there's some background noise, guys, for one of you. If you could please put yourselves on. We've previously worked with UK charities that do work out there. But think about it. If we raised £5,000, sometimes $2,000 of that, $2,500 just goes to the admin cost of somebody here in the team. And they don't do work actually in the region. And I always believe in giving back to where we've gotten from as well. So if we will be served by porters from there, guides by there, these guys will put their life at stake for you. They literally break their back. They will break their back carrying your 7 days worth of load on their head, going up this mountain for many days, while we will be complaining about a 3-kilo weight on our back. They will be carrying a 15-kilo one on their head. And I believe to give back to the communities that have served us, to serve them. And so this is about making a difference with that organization. You can see some photos here. There are members of the Sikh community in Moshi that are very active with this Lions Club. It's called Msandaka. One of them is the chair of this charity. So another one is an ex-Zambian British guy who is there, or is a Scottish guy. And he is part of the charity. They're great guys. We formed a good relationship with them. We love the transparency. We love their honesty. They've built a computer lab for these guys. They've built boreholes over the time. They've built various other things. So they've now been given a funding by Lions Netherlands of $90,000 to build this whole vocational training center. And the money we raise can also go towards other parts of that, like another borehole or a shelter for stuff that they're building under the vocational training staff. So those 2 acres of land has been given to them by the government, and then they're getting international funding, and we get to contribute to that. And we'll get to see the difference that's making over the years. We also did some tree planting. And if I'm to be honest with you, I realized when I was doing that there, even though I grew up in Zambia and Africa, I've never really done tree planting. So it was awesome to do tree planting and just get connected to that part of nature. So beautiful thing to do. If you have any Lions contacts where you locally are, if you're a member of a Lions club, if your parents are, if your siblings are, if your friends are, let them know that you're going to work with this Msandaka Deaf Center, the Lions Club there. We will give you what's called the Lions Club number, and Lions Clubs to Lions Clubs. Last year, what happened is one club decided to send a check or a donation with one of our people to top up our fundraising. So if you do know of any Lions, we even had Rotarians join, give to this pot. So as Jeremy Bravo says, great leaders don't set out to be a leader, they set out to make a difference. It's never about the role, always about the goal. All right, guys, any final questions before we wrap up? Are we all excited? Woohoo! Everyone's on mute. Yeah. All right, awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
All right, awesome. Guys, I'm looking forward to seeing those of you in the UK on 16th March. Those of you that are not in the UK or not joining us on 16th March, I invite you to share with the team what you are doing, right? And don't allow your weekends or your treks or your training to be reactionary. What I mean by that, don't say, there's a free weekend now, I'm going for a walk. Yes, you can always do that, but it makes a difference if you create your own calendar of treks you're going to. And part of the leadership is inspiring others to join you for that training. So in Kitwe, there's a place, Tammy, you know, there's that farm between Kitwe and Ndola where they do these walks every Saturday morning. Do you know about it?
Yes.
Yeah, if you can go for that. Yeah, so there's a 10 to 15K loop that we did there as part of our training in 2017. We did that with Kanea when he was 4 months. I recommend you guys, you going there and forming a team and community of going there. And when people don't show up, still honor your word and go for it, because this is a real investment in turning you inside out. All right, guys, on that note, keep the visualization alive. This was our 2014 team. That big chubby guy in the front hanging with the Manchester United shirt, that was me at 100 kilos doing Mount Kilimanjaro. At the back there, we had a guy with a Zambian hat. He was the youngest. He was 18 years old and probably the first Zambian to have done it at that age. And then the group was all international from the US, Kenya, Tanzania. About visualization, guys, the first thing I want everyone to see it in their mind. If you meditate daily, visualize yourself there at the top. If you're going to do it 5 minutes after this, visualize yourself there at the top or going to that mountain and embracing that mountain. Jim Carrey says, I would visualize things coming to me. It would just make me feel better. Visualization works if you work hard. That's the thing. You can't just visualize and go eat a sandwich. So don't visualize being on top of Kili and not showing up for training. You've got to do the training. We've got to do the hard work. All right, guys. That said, we're going to wrap up. I'm going to love you and leave you and chat more on the chat and see you at the next webinar next month.
Hey, guys.
Bye, guys.
It's great to meet everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye for now.